Hi everyone, it's James here. How you all doing? Welcome to another video. So this video is going to be a thread response to Chris Propfe Musically Obsessed, and I wanted to do this mainly just to do a shout out for Chris. Chris is a great guy on the VC. He responds to virtually every thread that's going. He must have done a response to at least 5 threads that I've started. Chris makes great videos. He makes short and sweet videos. They're normally only about 10 minutes long, but they're very focused, they're very intelligent. He's got an extremely diverse taste in music, which is what I like about his channel. You know, he shows everything from metal through to you know, soft pop music and jazz and all points in between. My kind of collector, really. So check out Chris if you haven't already. I mean, he's so many threads he starts all the time. By the time I put this video out, there'll probably be another Chris thread doing the rounds. So I thought I'd better do this one. So this is Give Me 10, or just Give Me 1974. Give Me records from 1974, which was a good year. I'm going to just jump straight in. The first one. This is a fairly obscure record, or a very obscure record I should say, by a singer-songwriter called Wayne Berry. And you can see him there in the shot. And I picked this up from a charity shop, Goodwill store, maybe last year. Didn't know anything about it, but I could see from the back that there were some interesting musicians on here. You've got people like Kenny Buttry, the drummer, who was on a lot of the classic Bob Dylan albums. You've got Jeff Skunk Baxter, the guitarist, who played with Steely Dan. All kinds of people. It's a really, really nice album. It's kind of cult country rock. So from the obscure to the rather less obscure, we've got the Doobie Brothers. And What's Were Once Vices Are Now Habits, and I just love that cover. And there we go on the back. And this was a charity shop find. The Doobies, I was never into them back in the day. I don't even think I was aware of them really until I got back into record collecting and then started to realise that their records were reasonably common. And I kind of did some reading up on them and realised that they were a significant band from the 70s, kind of, you know, mixture of hard rock and soft rock and pop. Great musicianship, and their records were produced by Ted Templeman, or at least this one was. I'm not sure if the others were. I can't quite remember. I think a fair few of them were, and they became much more soft rock later. Obviously, went into the Michael McDonald phase and went into a kind of yacht rock phase. But I just love all that stuff anyway. So dig me the Doobies. Right, so from that to something completely different. This is Slade. Great British glam rock band from the 1970s, and their album Old, New, Borrowed and Blue. And I'll show you the gatefold for this because it is rather magnificent. There's the boys. So, you know, Slade was so influential. They influenced Kiss, you know, for better or for worse, and all kinds of other people. They were a kind of heavy, very, very raw band from the West Midlands. In England, chiefly famous for the big Christmas hit obviously, but there was lots more to them than that. Okay, so something a bit different again now. This is a band that I've been getting into recently. There is a video in the pipeline. This is Camel, progressive rock group from, I think they're from Guildford in Surrey, and this is a fairly early album by them. I think it was their second or third album from 1974, and this is Mirage. Really, really enjoy Camel's music. They play English progressive rock with a bit of a classical feel. You know, there's a flute in there. Andrew Latimer, the guitar player, who's an incredible guitar player, also plays the flute. And their music is very immersive and just has great clarity to it. You know, just really great compositions and interesting ideas. Lovely keyboards as well. Just a really interesting prog rock band from back in the day, my kind of thing. Right, this next one, this was a blind buy. I picked it up during a VC meetup in England a few years back in Manchester. Didn't know anything about it except I knew, well, I could see on the back that it was produced by this guy here, Todd Rundgren, which is why I picked it up. And it is Felix Cavaliere, who was originally from the Young Rascals, I believe. Not a band that I've ever listened to, never found any of their records, but I'm aware of them. That's him there. and this was a solo album he put out in 1974, just called Felix Cavaliere, and like I said, it's produced by, I think it's produced by Todd Rundgren. Yeah, produced by Todd Rundgren and Felix Cavaliere, and it's quite nice. It's just a kind of reasonably light pop rock album with a bit of like, you know, sort of horn sections on it, and just a nice kind of easy rolling feel to it. One that I need to go back to, not listened to it for a couple of years, so that'll be nice to get that on the turntable. It's on the Bearsville label that Todd's albums were all on, of course. Next one was also a blind buy at the time, but then I did some reading up on it, and I've shown this record a couple of times on the vinyl community. This is Queen of the Night by Maggie Bell. So she is a Scottish soul singer. She's got a very gravelly voice, a bit like Janis Joplin. She was in a band called Stone the Crows, who were a Scottish kind of blues rock band. In the group they had the guitarist Jimmy McCulloch, who later went on to be in Wings. It's got Hugh McCracken on it, the great American session guitarist who was on the Ram album by Paul McCartney. I can see here it's got Chuck Rainey on bass as well. Just a good, you know, whiskey-soaked kind of soul rock record. Good stuff. Right, back to the realms of progressive rock now. Another band that I've been exploring in recent times, not a group that I was particularly aware of before, but their records are reasonably available. This is Focus and Hamburger Concerto from 1974. I'll show you the gatefold on this. And these guys, again, you know, it's prog rock. It's absolutely fantastic musicianship. Thies van Leer on organ and Jan Akkerman on guitar. And it was Jeff Calico Silver who started talking about him a lot and reviewing a lot of his solo records and talking about Focus, so that's what got me into them. And this is a really great album. It's got cathedral organ on it, which sounds dodgy, but it's not. It works. It's good. A musician whose records I've been collecting for many years, and I think I'm now complete, I think, on his classic 1970s and 80s run. This is Ry Cooder and Paradise and Lunch, one of his undoubted masterpieces. It's one of his more kind of Tex-Mex kind of records. Great fun. Right, what have we got? 3 more. I'm doing 11. I was going to do 10, but it's turned out to be 11. This next band I haven't talked about a great deal on my channel, and I need to do that at some point again because they are a favourite from back in my childhood. This is Sheet Music by 10cc, a great British art rock pop band from Stockport in England. Famously, they had their studios, Strawberry Studios, and they kind of set that studio up and they did some work with Neil Sedaka, and then they kind of accidentally stumbled into a pop career. Absolutely fascinating story. They featured the talents of Graham Gouldman, who'd done all sorts of songwriting for the Yardbirds and other people. Godley and Cream, of course, who went on to huge fame and success as video makers in the MTV world, and Eric Stewart, who went on to work with Paul McCartney a lot in the 1980s. I think this is their second album, Sheet Music, and it's popularly viewed as their best. This one is another guy whose music I've been checking out a lot more recently. Always been aware of him, had a greatest hits in the collection for many years, but probably a bit like Slade, really, from watching Richard McCook's videos. I've got more into him, and this is Steve Harley and Cockney Rebel, who were a kind of early 1970s glam rock band. This was the second album that they put out. He is, and he's still around, quite transgressive in his lyrics. It's all a bit, you know, X-rated. There's a definite kind of sleazy glam kind of feel to it, you know, think the Velvet Underground. But they were a band of their time, really. They were definitely a kind of early 1970s glam rock, glam pop band. Their sound was dominated by keyboards and violin. Kind of Rhodes piano and violin rather than guitar, and it you know, gave them an interesting sound. And Steve Harley's voice was very acidic and quite difficult to listen to. You know, it's a kind of an acquired taste, shall we say. Okay, so we'll finish with something thumpingly mainstream from 1974, and this is Caribou by Elton John. Never quite been able to make up my mind about that cover as to whether it's meant to be a joke or whether it's just meant to be serious. I don't know. There you go on the back. And yeah, Elton's an artist that I've been getting more into in the last maybe year or so. Let's inner on this one. This has got the classic track Ticking on it. and also a very strange song called Grimsby, which is a kind of ode to Grimsby on the east coast of England. Interesting lyric there from Bernie Taupin. Yeah, probably not up there with his very best, but certainly a decent album from Elton, despite the dodginess of the cover. There you go, Chris. I hope that was okay. That was 11 albums from 1974. Check out Chris's channel. I shall put a link in the video description below. And thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.